go.
Welcome to this afternoon's DVMUG Zoom meeting for June 4th, 2024. I'm Lee Wagner. I'll be hosting today's meeting. We follow the usual lineup of news, followed by videos. For videos, we have Ultimate Guide to Apple Notes, updated for 2024. Record video presentations with you in them using Keynote. 10 amazing iOS features to enhance your iPhone experience. 3 iPhone tips you wish you knew. How to remove audio from live photos. And finally, how to combine parts of images in iOS 17 for iPhone and iPad. Followed then by miscellaneous question and answers and social hours. So we start with this week's news. This is on the DVMUG BBS, and the URLs are clickable, so you can get the finer detail on these items. And I will just do some synopsis on them here. 5 indicted in $12 million fake Apple devices fraud case in Southern California by Charles Martin of Apple Insider. A scam involving returning some 16,000 counterfeit iPhones and iPads to Apple stores has resulted in 5 arrests that could lead to decades behind bars. A criminal ring operating throughout Southern California has been charged with stealing some $12.3 million worth of Apple products by returning real-looking counterfeits that didn't work to the Apple stores. The stores would then replace the non-functional clones with genuine iPhones and iPads, which were then shipped overseas. 5 Chinese nationals living in the Los Angeles area were apprehended on May 30th, 2024. Yang Song, Yongwei Zhang, Zhen Zuanhu, Yushan Lin, and Shuyi Zing, or reasonable interpretations of those names, will be tried on charges of aggravated identity theft, conspiracy to traffic in counterfeit goods, and conspiracy to commit wire fraud and mail fraud. The defendants are accused of taking advantage of Apple's customer service policies to steal more than $12 million in merchandise, said United States Attorney Martin Estrada. Companies should not be victimized and defrauded for being responsive to customer needs, and these federal charges send a message that our office will take decisive action to uncover and prosecute those who perpetrate fraud. Any thoughts, any questions?
How could Apple take back 12,000 counterfeit iPhones?
I don't understand that.
Without picking up on that.
How could they even do that? Why would Apple take back a counterfeit? I don't understand. It has to be registered to you, and you have to they make sure it's not. I don't get it.
Unopened boxes, maybe?
I don't know. That's very strange. They wouldn't take it back. It was like walking in with you have to prove that you own the thing so it's not stolen.
And then you bought it from them, right?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't see how that would work.
Well, the lawsuit is underway, so it must have worked somehow. Moving on. Could VR gaming save Apple Vision Pro? These new releases point to a future Apple may not have anticipated or even wanted. This is by James Bentley of iMore.com. Apple Vision Pro has just received 2 of VR's most popular games, now optimized for hand and eye tracking. Alchemy Labs has just launched both Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator on Apple Vision Pro with immersive environments, eye tracking, and hand tracking. Unlike What the Golf, and some of the best spatial games, this doesn't place the screen in your physical space. Instead, it puts you in an entirely digital environment. The risk of you accidentally bumping into your plants goes up, but so does your immersion. So you're not looking at a screen, you're actually in the digital environment. Well, these games will be a lot of fun to test out in Apple's spatial headset. Their launch is bigger than just a new game launch because it's a sign that Apple Vision Pro is worth more traditional VR game companies adapting their games for it. Getting a game working on there isn't the same as just porting to another device or store platform. Given it doesn't have any physical controls, games need to be built from the ground up with eye and hand tracking in mind. That's a significant change.
Would you rather play Job Simulator or Vacation Simulator?
Well, I guess vacation sounds a little more fun.
Well, since we're all on permanent vacation, maybe we would gain more from Job Simulator.
Right. Next item, Meta is using your data to train AI models. Europeans can opt out by Ben Lovejoy, 9to5Mac. If you use Instagram or Facebook, Meta is using your data to train its AI models. The company uses posts as training material for its generative AI systems. Privacy legislation in the UK and European Union means that the company is forced to offer an opt-out option, but it is doing so in a rather sketchy way. We may never know that Meta is using our data to train its AI models were it not for the privacy legislation in Europe. This forces companies to disclose the way they acquire, process, and retain data, and to offer opt-outs. To comply, the company is today emailing Instagram and Facebook users. Notably, the company does not appear to be notifying users outside of Europe. There are 6 acceptable reasons for companies to hold your data, one of which is known as legitimate interest. This is perhaps the weakest element of the legislation, as it isn't very well defined and includes commercial interests. It is this clause Meta is relying on here. So if you're being used, if you're using those apps.
Well, Hard Fork, which is a really interesting podcast, did a whole episode. Well, they've been talking about this for months, but they did a whole episode on AI's original sin, they called it. It's a fascinating episode where they're talking about how AI basically, and they all did it, Meta, Microsoft, Google, and OpenAI basically fed everything they could get their hands on in without seeking permission. And they have basically allowed each other to use their data because they're doing the same thing. So basically anything online at this has been fair game.
Well, been used, whether it's fair or not, I guess it's to be determined.
Genji, may I ask what podcast this was again?
Hard Fork, which is it's a really entertaining and fascinating podcast. It's from two guys there. It's one is the tech columnist for the New York Times, and the other is from Platformer, which I guess is a website, I think, or something. Anyway, the podcast is from the New York Times. It's a really interesting one on tech and especially AI.
Could you spell that for me, as my ears
Hard, HARD, Fork, FORK, 2 words.
Thank you.
I can put a link for that episode in the chat.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. There's a report that an iOS 18 update will enable Siri to control any app by Jason Cross of Macworld.com. It's no secret that Apple is going to push hard into AI with its OS updates this year. And we'll learn all about iOS 18 and Mac OS 15 at WWDC in less than 3 weeks. Details have been leaking out in the weeks leading up to the event, and Bloomberg's Mark Gurman has news of one we haven't heard of yet. Siri, he claims, will be able to perform almost any function within apps. The feature is said to be coming in an iOS update as early in 2025. Currently, Apple provides a limited number of app intents that developers can hook into that allow Siri to perform limited actions within those apps. It's things like starting to play audio or sending messages. Under the new system, Apple will use AI to analyze what people do on their devices, together with reading screen content like button labels, to perform a much wider range of functions. The system will supposedly handle hundreds of different commands and presumably won't require developers to build their apps in a specific way to enable them all. Initially, the system is expected to handle one command at a time and only an Apple
New York Times,
app.
unlinkable bar.
Over time, Apple hopes to grow that to work in almost any app and to support multiple commands at once. Examples given would be to create a text summary of a recorded meeting and then text it to a colleague, or to crop an image and then email it to a friend.
So we're going to hear a lot about it. And WWDC is next Monday.
Right.
And so that gives me a chance of the news will be out by tomorrow, next week's meeting on Tuesday. We should have lots of stuff about that. And then I got Jason Snell to do his annual WWC roundup for us in 3 weeks on the 25th, and he's going to WWDC live. Like he did last year, he'll be there in person. So I'm sure he'll have lots to summarize about it.
All right.
So I was incorrect where I said I heard that on the Hard Fork podcast. It was on the Daily podcast, and I put a link in the chat.
Will this all apply to all iPhones? In other words, not just the 15, iPhone 15, or is it gonna affect my?
Yet to be seen. Stay tuned next week.
Okay.
All right. Well, next week's almost here.
Yeah.
Moving on. Moving on to the videos. This is posted on the BBS, and once again, the URLs are clickable, and you can get to finer detail by going to them. First video is from Techie Tutor, Ultimate Guide to Apple Notes updated for 2024.
Let's dive into the essential features that make Apple Notes the most amazing tool for organizing your thoughts, daily tasks, and ideas. Here's a viewing tip. Use the list of chapters to jump back and forth to the sections that you need to review. And you can pause and replay if needed. So let's get started. Here is my home screen. As you can see, I can access my notes by pressing the widget on my home screen. I can also access notes through the app library. Apple Notes is your digital notebook, and it's always available. It's a great app. You can jot quick notes, which is something that may be more transitory. You might not need it after today. Something that you quickly need to jot down so you don't forget when you get somewhere.
To access a quick note, just slide your finger from the top down with the newer phones and find the icon for quick note and press it. And then you can just write a quick note and you'll press save. What about if you don't have quick note in your control center? Here's how you fix that. Open up settings, go to Control Center. This is where you see included controls on top and a whole menu of controls you can add. We're going to just go down to Quick Note and press the green plus, and then Quick Note is added to the included controls. So when you access the Control Center, it's right there.
I use Apple Notes to keep track of personal things and work things, but the key to using Apple Notes and having it be a successful tool for you is organization. If you don't spend the time to organize notes, then you're going to have a more difficult time keeping track of everything. So if your brain is like mine, where you're all over the place, Apple Notes is a great way to develop a structure to keep track of all your ideas. Creating a note is as easy as tapping New Note button. Just type away and your thoughts are instantly captured. Want to emphasize something in your notes? You can easily make text bold, italic, or underlined for clarity and organization. Here's how to do that.
I can now format it by pressing one of these icons. I'm going to press the text icon, and you see I have a choice. I can make it a title, a heading, a subheading, body type, or monostyled. I'm going to keep it as a heading, and I can have it in bold, italic. I can underline it, and if this is more like a checklist, once I do something, I can cross it out like that. So all of these features are there available right in the notes. In addition, you can have a bulleted list, you can have a dashed list, you can have a numbered list, and you can use these for formatting your paragraphs later.
Stay on top of your tasks with checklists. This is perfect for grocery lists, to-do lists, or anything else you need to remember. Once an item is completed, tap the circle. It will show completed items at the bottom of your list. In Notes, you are not limited to typing text.
You can add photos right from your camera roll or even sketch a quick drawing right within your note. Here's how you add a photo to your notes. Press on New Note, press on the camera icon, take photo or video or choose photo or video. I'm going to choose a photo. There we go. I'm going to press Add, and there it is, my photos in my note. Sketch a note. Press New Note. Press the pencil icon right here. Choose a tool. Choose a color. And you can sketch with your Apple Pencil or your finger. And there's my note. I press Done.
Here's how you can scan documents into Notes.
Press the New Note icon. To scan a receipt, I'm going to press the camera. I'm going to press Scan Documents. Hold my phone right over the receipt, and then it'll automatically scan it. I'll press Save, and my receipt will turn up right here. I can give it a name by pressing Rename. Type that in, press Save.
Take your organization to the next level with tags, folders, and smart folders. I have hundreds of notes, and without this organizational system, I would be lost trying to find anything. You can organize your notes into folders, which is pretty typical, and you can just create the folders as you need. For example, work folder, personal folder, books I want to read folder, whatever it is you need. You could have a folder called Recreation, and inside your Recreation folder, you could have a folder called Schedules. You could have a folder called Classes, whatever it is that works inside the other folder. This keeps your main screen for notes much cleaner. Here's how you create a folder and put it inside another folder.
I want to move the folder called Recipes into another folder. What I'll do is I'll do a long press and slide it up to the folder I want it in and let go. And there it is now. The Recipes folder is inside Areas. Now if I want to move it again, maybe I want it to be in my Home section, I can move it over to here to Home and let go, and now the folder is inside there. Now if I want to move it out, I can long press it, press Move, and then I can choose another place to move it. Maybe I want to move it back where I was, and now going back to all on my iPhone, you see it's right back here where I started. And that's how you move a folder into another folder.
You can organize your notes with tags. Tags are a great way to organize your notes by keywords, even when the notes are in different folders. You can easily find a note that you wrote by tagging it. For example, if I want to collect recipes in a folder called recipes, but I only want to see recipes that have to do with maybe side dishes or vegetarian, I can use the hashtag or the pound symbol or the number sign, depending on what generation you're in, and you can type hashtag vegetarian. Now I want to show you how you can search your tags. I'm going to go into my recipes folder, and here I want to search my vegetarian recipes. So I'm going to search vegetarian, and all the recipes that I've collected that have the tag vegetarian, you can see the word vegetarian is in yellow. Those are all tagged vegetarian. To add a tag in a note, type the number sign, pound sign, hashtag symbol, followed by the tag name. The text will change color to show a tag has been added as soon as you press the enter. Tag names need to be one continuous word. However, you can use a hyphen or an underscore. That does make your tag longer, but it does become more specific. You can add multiple tags to a note, and any tag you create is automatically added to the tags browser under your list of folders. View your notes with tags. When you create a tag, you can find it in the note itself and in the tags browser, which is below your list of folders. To see a list of notes with a specific tag or multiple tags, go to the tags browser, tap a tag or all tags. If you tap one tag, you see a list of notes with that specific tag. Smart folders filter out your tagged notes. Your notes remain in the folder they are originally in. However, you can see your notes across multiple folders, or even notes that are not in a folder. Need to share your notes with others? I share my shopping list with my family members. I'll type out things on my shopping list, but I want everyone to have access to that list so whoever is at the store can see what we need. Here's how you do that. Select a note, tap the share sheet, and choose a contact to share the note with. Easy peasy. Apple Notes includes a few accessibility features, including voice dictation. This allows you to take a note hands-free. I use it all the time, but here's a caveat. Always check what Siri thinks you said. Usually you'll find a few, if not funny, definite errors. Here's how you do that. Select the microphone. Once it is on, dictate your note. Remember, check your note for correctness before pressing save. With iCloud enabled, your notes will sync across all Apple devices so that you can access a note no matter where you are and no matter what device you have. In fact, if you have no device and you need to see a note, you can just log on to iCloud with your Apple ID, open up your notes, and see them quickly. Your notes are secure with Face ID and Touch ID. Press the three dots, press lock. You'll see the lock icon on the top of your screen. Clicking on that will lock it. Now the note is locked. When you want to view it, just press View Note, and I have Face ID enabled, so it will open right up. If you want to take a lock away, press on the three dots and press Remove, and the lock is gone. And there you have it. With Apple Notes, staying productive and organizing is easy peasy. Thanks for watching. Please click the like button below if you got something out of my video, and subscribe so you'll know when my new videos come out. I'm Karen, founder of Techie Tutor, and I make videos to help seniors and others new to iPhone make the best use of their technology. Head on over to my channel page linked above to see more videos.
Well, any comments or questions?
Yeah, she could use some techie tutoring on
Sound.
audio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she got into different environments, it sounded differently.
And sometimes the level jumps up and down just within
Yeah.
shot.
Mhm.
And there also seemed to be some noise going on behind her. I muted you, Lee, because you were the only unmuted mic, and I thought maybe that was somebody's room noise that was creeping in, but no, it was in her recording.
Right.
I will say this, she did a nice job of expanding on notes. I used to use it just like a notepad, so it was everything was higgly-piggly. And about a month ago, I started organizing them and stuff, and it makes things a lot easier.
Uh-huh.
You know, I don't think the majority of people utilize notes like they could.
All right. Second video is from Gary Rosenzweig of MacMost. Record video presentations with you in them using Keynote.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let me show you how you can create video presentations with yourself on camera using Keynote. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MacMost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now, I often get asked about my videos how I put myself in the bottom right-hand corner of the video while I'm showing stuff on the screen. Most of the time when people want to do this, though, they don't want to do screen recording. Now, I'm using specialty software for this. But most of the time when people want to do this, they don't necessarily want to show the screen, but they want to show a presentation. Like, for instance, you've created a presentation in Keynote that has all sorts of information in it, and you want to create a video of that, but with your voice and with your image in a corner presenting these slides. You could do this pretty easily using only Keynote. The functionality is built into it. So let's start off here with a presentation. I've got a demo presentation here, and it's just a bunch of different slides. Now what I want to do is I'm going to put myself on the actual slides. So let's say I don't have it here on the first slide. This is just the introduction. But here on the second slide I'm presenting, and I want to see myself here. The way to do that is to choose Insert and then Live Video. And then you're going to see yourself using your webcam. So if this is like a MacBook or an iMac, it's going to use your built-in webcam. On my Mac Studio, I'm using the Apple Studio Displays camera. Anything that you usually use as a webcam should show up here. So you're going to see yourself, and you can change the size of this, and you can, with it selected, go over to Format in the sidebar here, and there's a section called Live Video. You can actually choose if you've got multiple cameras set up. You could scale like this, and you could choose a mask. So you don't need to do 16:9. Chances are you probably want to do square like this, or maybe circle like that. But you could even do custom, which is basically a rounded rectangle. So you can increase the corner radius and have it be something like that. You can also have the background removed. So you select this and the background's removed. You could change the background, add a color or a gradient, or even bring in an image to use as the background here. I'm going to leave it as no color. So it's transparent here. You can actually see how I'm floating over the content. But I could make it something like, say, a black color here if I wanted to make sure that I blacked out what was ever behind. You can also go to Style and choose different styles here with borders. So I'll just do a line here, just a white line, and you can choose a shadow, you can do reflection, you can even make it semi-transparent if you want. So once you get a style that you like, you can reposition this. Note, if I double click, I go back into where I can adjust the zoom like that. And now I can bring this and put it where I want. Let's say I want it at the bottom left-hand corner. So you can tell it's actually showing me live here on video. Now this is only on this slide. If I go to the next slide, it's not there. So what you're going to want to do is select it and copy and go and paste it on any slide you want. So I'll paste it on the second slide. I'll paste it on the third slide. But it doesn't need to be on every slide. Like say this was a slide where I wanted everybody to focus on what was said and I didn't want to have my image there. I could skip that slide. And I can go to this slide and have me be there. I can go and put it on a different location on this slide. So here I'm going to put myself at the top left. And then I'm going to go back, paste in, and it's going to paste into the bottom left there. So you can see I'm in different locations. You can even animate this. If I choose this slide and go to Animate and add an effect and say Magic Move, you could see how it does a regular magic move like it would with any piece of text or shape or image. But it's doing it with this live video element here. So it's actually going to transition. It's going to do the magic move from here to here, making me animated on the slide. So now I can practice this. I can hit play and I could see what's going on here. I could start going through and there I am there. And I'm on the next slide, this slide. On this slide I'm not there, but then I'm back here. I go to this slide, I'm at the top. I go to this slide, but you see the transition, the magic move happened. So I can set this all up in advance to show me where I want. Now you could already use this to present. If you're presenting a large room, for instance, you can have your webcam set to be on you and then your image will actually be up on the big screen as well as your slides. But you can also use this to record. So let's go back to the first slide. I go into play and you can see I can record slideshow. So let's go and record slideshow. And what I'm going to see here is I see a recording interface. I don't actually see it here on this screen. Let me go and switch. I've got two screens, and the second one shows me my presenter display. And you can see at the bottom here I've got the recording controls. So I will go in, I'm going to hit the record button and it's going to count me down, and now I can make my presentation. So I can go from this slide and it's recording my voice the whole time, but now it's recording video as well, and it keeps recording video on these slides. It's going to record audio here but no video because I'm not using the video element. Then here it's back, here it's at the top, and then it's animating, and I'm still talking while it's animating. And then it's going to go on, and I haven't placed the live video on any other of these. So I'm just going to hit the stop button, and I've now got a recording. And what I can do now is I could play back the recording. So now instead of play slideshow, I can play recorded slideshow. And I'll actually play back the slideshow and watch it go here in this window.
Now it's recording video as well, and it keeps recording video on these slides.
And now in addition to that, I can also go to File and then Export to, and export to a movie. And you can select slideshow recording or self-playing. You want to select recording, and it's going to use all the audio and video. And then I'm going to save that out and save it out here to the desktop, and it'll create the movie. Probably is going to be longer for a real length thing. But when it's done, you're going to get this video file here, and I'm going to open that up here using QuickTime Player, and there it is, and I can play this back.
So I can go from this slide, and it's recording my voice the whole time, but now it's recording video as well, and it keeps recording video.
And there you go. It's got everything in it. I can scrub through it. There's even the part where it's moving.
Animating, and I'm still talking while.
And it's all built into the video. So now I can take this video file here, upload it to YouTube, or share it with other people, and it not only has my presentation in it, but my voice and my video on the slides where I want it. So there are tons of possibilities here. If you ever see the videos on YouTube where somebody is explaining something, well, now you can do that too. Build out a presentation, create all the different slides, do all of the different things that you can do in Keynote, and then rehearse your presentation and then record it. Recording even allows you to stop the recording and then pick it up or replace a section of it later on. So you don't have to get it all right in one run, and then export it as a video. And now you've got your own explainer video or the presentation that you created for work or school in a format that includes you in the video. I hope you find this useful. Thanks for watching.
Well, I thought it was interesting that you could put it into a MP4 so that the PCs can watch it as well. And
I
you-
gotta try that.
Moving on. Third video is from Aaron Zolotek. 10 amazing iOS features to enhance your iPhone experience.
Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zolotech, and I wanted to share with you 10 amazing iPhone features to enhance your iPhone experience. Hopefully you're not familiar with every single one of these, and it will just improve your iPhone experience even more. The first thing has to do with wallpaper. Sometimes when you go to set a wallpaper and it doesn't fit properly, it will do things such as automatically extend and not look how you wanted it to look overall. Sometimes you won't get the entire wallpaper, and there's an easy solution for this that's built into the iPhone. If we go back to our home screen, go to Photos, within a photo you'll see here's a wallpaper that's meant specifically for an iPad, and while this would look great on an iPad, it won't fit directly on an iPhone. If we want to change this and make this photo fit properly, go to Edit in the upper right, then tap Crop in the bottom. We can tap Crop again or just tap the little boxes in the upper right. That's just sort of a fast way to get into that. Then slide over to Wallpaper and just tap Wallpaper. You can orient it based on which way you want to use it. So depending on how your phone is rotated, you can set it that way, move it around to where it fits properly, and then go ahead and tap Done. So if we go to Done, then we go and share it or go to our share sheet and then use as a wallpaper, you'll see that it fits properly. It's not automatically extending the image, and we could do that if we want or crop into it, but it won't do it on its own. It will fit properly on the iPhone that you're using, and it solves that issue. So sometimes you can't have the entire wallpaper because it's just not formatted properly. That should fix that for you. The next feature has to do with Notes. Notes contains a lot of different features many people don't realize is there. Maybe you need to scan a document that you have to sign for someone and you don't have a fax machine, or they want an email of something signed, or just something that has your signature on it, or you need to fill out altogether. You can do this directly in the Notes app by scanning a document, photos, and more. If we go into the Notes app, tap on the camera, and then go to Scan Documents, it will bring up the camera and allow us to scan a document automatically. We'll bring in our Apple Watch Ultra pamphlet. You'll see it recognizes it by itself and takes a photo immediately. Maybe we have a document here for a standard application. This is just a sample document. You'll see there, it recognizes the document, takes the photo, and then adds it to our note automatically. Once we're done, tap Save, and we can see those in just a moment. Give it a second to process, and now we have our documents. So once we're done, we can tap this button here and see more options for each individual photo. We can change it, rotate it, add a filter, or insert a blank page. We'll go back here, and once we're happy with that, all we need to do is send it, or we can mark it up with this little tool here if we need to write on it, maybe go to a pencil and sign something, or write on it. Once we're done, we can then share it. Tap the little share sheet icon, make sure it says send copy, and then scroll down to save files. So you can save this to a file, copy it, print it, or whatever you'd like. So if you'd like to save it, you'll have that option, and you'll have more options in the upper right. This is just for sorting to find it. So if you want to add a tag to your file, you can do that also. So this is a great way to just save a file that you need to mark up and then send to someone else. So you could email that, save it to your files, or anything you'd like to do with it. One feature I think gets overlooked a lot in iOS is Spotlight Search. Apple continues to add more and more to this. So if we pull down from the middle of our screen, or just tap the search icon at the bottom, if you don't have that disabled, you'll get your search options. Here you could search for just about anything, whether it's a movie such as Back to the Future. It will give you more information about that. You can go directly to a web page about it, show more results, and see all the different options for it. However, you can convert things in here as well. And this is something I use all the time since where I live, we use Fahrenheit. Other places use Celsius for temperature measurement, or kilometers and miles per hour, or just even currencies. So maybe I want to know what 120 kilometers per hour is in miles per hour. Just start typing and it will show me right away that it's 74.56 miles or miles per hour. Maybe I want to know what a temperature is, maybe in Celsius, but I'm in Fahrenheit. So I'll type 76F for Fahrenheit, and now it tells me it's 24.44 degrees Celsius. Or maybe 76 USD, and it will allow me to convert that to euros or something else right away in real time with real-time results. So this is something I find incredibly helpful, whether it's distance, miles per hour, currency, or anything else. They add more and more to it, so I would highly encourage you to try this out and see what you're searching for and see if it shows up here as well. One feature I find to be very helpful when you're recording with your camera is if you go in and maybe you're in a video and you bring in a display or something else, you'll notice that the white color behind here actually changes. That's called white balance, and based on what the overall environment is like, the iPhone is trying to figure out what actual white looks like. So as we bring this in, you'll see it change. Now, what I typically do is lock this so that it doesn't change throughout videos now. That's something you do on professional cameras, and you can do that on the iPhone now as well. If we go into Settings and we scroll down to the camera option, then we go to Record Video, scroll down toward the bottom, you'll see that we have Lock White Balance. Once you start recording, it locks that white balance so it doesn't change. So what I'll typically do is bring in maybe a display. That's what I want it to look like. tap record. Now it's locked. If I bring the display out, it may dim it because it's controlling exposure, but the white balance itself is not changing. So that's something I find very helpful, and it makes things look more accurate and less distracting as less things are changing in the background. There's some features in photos many people aren't utilizing, and one of those has to do with editing your photo. If we go into this photo, the wallpaper, again linked in the description, we'll go to edit. And then within the edit, maybe we want to change a few different things here. Whether it's the highlights, we'll just change it here a little bit. Maybe we'll saturate it a little bit. We'll make it much more saturated. It changed it dramatically. We could change the vibrance or whatever you would like. You can change this. And then once you're done with it, you can now copy and paste this exact same change to something else. If we go to the three dots in the upper right, tap on Copy Edits. And under Copy Edits, maybe we'll go to the next thing here. We'll go back and we'll copy those edits and changes it overall. You can do that with anything and just paste the edits over and over. So here's another one. We'll change it. It pasted the edit, and now it looks exactly like I had before. So it's a very helpful feature, but many people don't use if they want to edit many things at once. Also in photos, if you have a pet, whether it's a dog, cat, bird, or maybe it recognizes a flower or a person, you can name this, tag it, and then make it easier to search for those specific things. So if we wanted to see all of the different photos of this particular golden retriever, tap on the eye here as it recognizes something. We can see that it recognizes it's a golden retriever. And then if we tap this little icon in the bottom left of the photo, we can name this pet. We can see all photos with this pet in it, make a key photo, or feature this pet less. So we'll tap Name This Pet. We'll just call this golden retriever Jack. Tap Done. This was sent in by Cameron and Connor, so thanks for sending this over. And we'll tap Done here. So you'll see it recognizes it. It's now named Jack. And then if we tap that icon again, we can change some different information about it. Now that Jack has a name, we'll tap the icon and we can see all photos of Jack. So you can use that right in search to find who you're looking for, a pet, a plant. You can even search things such as cars and it will bring up cars. So that's something that works great and helps you organize your photos a little bit better. You can also find different information similar to this within Safari. So just searching for a golden retriever, if we go to this photo, press and hold, we have the option to save to photos, copy, or look up the subject. If we tap look up, it will recognize it. You'll see here, and it gives us more information about a golden retriever. Just press and hold on the photo you're looking at, and you can get more information if the phone will recognize it. So again, we'll try something else. And in this case, it's a tree. We'll go in and press and hold on the tree, look up what it is, give it a moment to recognize it, and it says it's an eastern white pine tree, or just a pine tree in general. So again, it gives you more information about it just pressing and holding. It recognizes it's a plant and lets you know exactly what it is. So you can do that with anything online as long as it's a photo, press and hold, look it up, and you'll see more information about it. So it's a great feature that I think is really underutilized when you're trying to figure out what something is. Now, audio has a great feature that has to do with AirPods. So let me get my AirPods. I have my AirPods. I'll go ahead and connect them to my iPhone and give it just a second here. We'll make sure that it's on the iPhone directly. There we are. It's connected. And now what we want to do is first go into our settings. Within settings, go down to where it says Control Center and make sure that you have the listen icon or hearing icon there. If it's not there, scroll down. You'll see it below. Add it so that you can easily access it in your Control Center. Once you have that, go into your Control Center, find the little ear icon, and then press and hold on it. You'll see we have an option for Live Listen. If I tap on Live Listen, now I can hear myself directly through the microphone. So if I want to set this over maybe by a speaker so I can hear somebody and then listen directly with my AirPods, I can do that from a distance. So that's something that allows you to hear something from a distance, or maybe just a little bit better with more volume. You could use it for the same thing with Conversation Boost. So now I can hear myself even clearer or louder than I was originally. So these are both great features, Live Listen and Conversation Boost, that if you weren't familiar with them, make it a little bit easier to hear if you wanted to set your phone down and hear someone at a distance. Now maybe you're listening to a song, and of course we know that we have lyrics here, and that's something that Apple added a little while ago. We have different lyrics, and maybe we want to share those lyrics and have someone hear a specific part of a song that maybe we enjoy or something that you've recently been thinking about. So if we press and hold, We can then copy that part of the lyrics, select more or less, and then just share it with messages, share song to someone else, and then it will allow you to bring up the share sheet and share it directly either with AirDrop, you can email it, add it to a note, messages, or whatever you'd like. So that's a great way to share some lyrics with someone, let them see exactly what you've been listening to, or maybe just share it for yourself within notes or a document you're working on. Now, if you take a lot of phone calls and maybe you're busy all the time and you want the phone to answer by itself so that you can actually continue working but still answer that phone call since you can't touch your phone, you can enable this by going into your settings. So within your settings, go down to accessibility. Within accessibility, go to where it says touch, and under touch, go to call audio routing. So scroll down to where it says call audio routing. It'll say automatic, at least that's what I have on mine. You can automatically route it to a Bluetooth headset, a speaker, and then have it auto answer a call. So maybe you want it to auto answer a call, turn that on, and then you can give it a time frame into when it will answer that call. So maybe after 3 seconds, or you can change it to a longer duration if you'd like. Just let it ring for 15 seconds and then it will pick up on its own. So if you want to use that, that's actually an option that's fairly helpful if you take a lot of phone calls and need it just to pick up anytime someone calls. Of course, if you're getting a lot of spam calls, this could be annoying because it will automatically pick up the phone call. But otherwise, I think this is a great feature if you need to use it and you're taking a lot of phone calls and you're busy in the kitchen, working on a car, doing something else. There's a feature that was recently added to the Health app to help with medications, and it has additional features that I don't think people realize is there. If we go into the Health app and maybe you take a lot of medications, we'll go into Browse, Medication, and I just added a few different random ones here. If I scroll down, you'll see that it says Drug Interactions, None Found. If maybe we add a medication such as, we'll add warfarin, and again, this is just something I looked up randomly to see if it would interact. We'll just pick something random, tap Next, skip, and tap Done, and then you'll see it says Drug Interactions. Now there's one serious and one moderate. If we go to drug interactions, it will explain some of them and then basically warn you that there could be some interactions with different things here, such as Flonase and warfarin, and then it gives you more information. Of course, you should always consult with a doctor on this or your physician that you have, but again, it will warn you of this and make you aware that maybe some of these things could interact. So that's something I think is very helpful if you take medications or maybe just wonder if something interacts. Add it here, see what you're actually taking, and see if it interacts with it, and then consult your physician. Those are 10 plus iPhone features to enhance your iPhone experience, and hopefully some of those were new to you and can make your experience even better. Let me know if you were familiar with all of them, or if you have any other tips that you think are kind of less known. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Of course, like I said before, I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.
Well, any comments or questions?
Yeah, I like this guy, but boy, he goes even faster than
Too much, too fast.
Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I gotta
Too
watch this
fast.
at least twice.
I agree. Way
Uh-huh.
too fast.
So was it my computer or did you experience glitches a couple of times?
The audio stopped a couple of times.
It was mine also. I thought,
Well, the reason for that is because I cut two commercials out of there. I recorded that and I had to take the commercials out.
Oh, you did that? I had commercials in the middle of it.
Yeah, two of them in that one.
And that caused it to freeze for a while that one time?
Yeah, because I wasn't quick enough on the button to
okay. But I had a situation where Zoom disconnected and reconnected. And so I don't know what happened there. It was.
I think that was on your end.
Yeah.
It came right in the middle of this presentation. So
I had the same thing happen. This is Lynn.
Well, it froze for a bit, but is that what you're talking about?
No, it just disconnected.
all right.
The Zoom.
Saw the
Sorry,
circle going and reconnecting.
Well, as I say, that was on your end.
It's the heat.
Yeah.
How hot is it out there in the Diablo Valley?
It's hitting 100.
Wow, it's 77 here.
Oh, great.
100 on my.
I'm moving in. I'm coming over.
Come on over. I'm planning on going for a walk in Golden Gate Park around 7 or 8 p.m.
Oh,
Supposed to be 68 then.
oh man.
Concord's a balmy 95.
Moving on. Fourth video is from Techie Tutor, 3 iPhone tips you wish you knew.
Hello, welcome to Techie Tutor. Today I'm going to go over a few new tips that I'd like to share with you. I'm going to be showing you some hidden features of iOS 17, so stay tuned and let's get started. I'm going to open up my messages and I'm going to create a new message. I'm going to just put a funny sentence in here. I want pizza on an airplane, and then I want to play basketball. Now look what happens. When I press the emoji symbol, some of the words turn orange. And I was always wondering why they turn orange, but did you know if you tap on the orange words, an emoji pops up, and then you can easily change it. Tap on basketball, tap on pizza. There we go, we have our airplane, and now we have a very exciting message to send with 3 emojis right in there. But I thought that was a pretty cool hidden feature. So next time you're writing a message, when you notice some words are in orange, what that means is that there's a paired emoji that goes with that word. And here's another really cool feature that you can use when you're typing, no matter where you're typing, whether it's in an email or on messages. You can easily place your cursor just by using the trackpad function. Here you go. Let me show you. When you're having trouble moving that cursor, try this. Hold down the space bar and you'll notice that all the letters disappear and they become a trackpad. You can easily move the cursor anywhere. And this is easier for me. Let's say I want to change the word I to we. It was just that easy. And here's another quick tip. If you are typing, whether it's in iMessage or Notes or in any app, and you would like to access additional characters, when you're typing, if you hold down the character, other possibilities will appear. So if you need, for some reason, another character, it will come through. So again, what you will do is while you're typing, you hold down any character and the other options come through just by an extended hold. If you found this video helpful, please press the like button and subscribe so you'll be notified of any new videos I have. And let me know in the comments if you found it helpful or what videos you'd like to see next.
Comments or questions?
That
That
was
was
very
good,
helpful.
short.
Yeah.
That was good, short but sweet, and seems like she got her audio figured out better in this one.
Yeah, she doesn't do good with switching formats and cameras and stuff, but that was much better production. Keep it simple.
The holding down the space bar to create a trackpad is probably the best feature that I think was launched with iOS 16, was it? Or maybe 15, but that's the best thing since sliced bread.
Uh-huh.
What do you're saying 17, Mike? I think it was out before 17, wasn't it? Oh, 6?
16. Yeah, the trackpad thing is real nice because otherwise you got to move those 2 bars and you delete or insert.
Okay, moving on. 5th video is from Ellen Sweeney, iPad tips for seniors. How to remove audio from live photos.
Oh, cool.
Follow along with this video to learn how to use the Photos app to remove audio from your live photos and save them as soundless media files. Live photos are 3-second videos that have sound when you play them. When you take a live photo, it captures 1.5 seconds before you tap the shutter button and 1.5 seconds after you hit it, totaling 3 seconds of video and audio. What can you do with live photos? Live photos can be used to make GIFs, and you can extract individual frames as still images. However, if the audio in the live photo is just noise, you may want to eliminate it to have a GIF-like animated image with no sound. Note: removing sound is not a good idea if you plan on exporting live photos as a standalone video. You can remove audio on your iPhone, iPad, or Mac, but we're going to deal specifically with the iPhone or the iPad. And so what we're going to do is we're going to open the Photos app. We're going to choose Albums along the bottom. You're going to want to scroll until you see Media Types and go ahead and select Live Photos. Once you select Live Photos, you'll want to find the photo that you want to remove audio from. So I'm going to go ahead and open this photo. And if I push and hold on it, you should hear the audio.
How cute they are.
So once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select Edit in the upper right corner. I'm going to choose the live icon along the bottom. And now I'm going to tap the speaker icon in the upper left corner to mute the sound. And when I'm finished, I can go ahead and tap on Done. And now that will save the changes. And if I touch and hold the live photo now, you shouldn't hear any sound. So that's the first option for removing sound from a live photo. If I wanted to reverse that process, I can. All I need to do is come back into that same photo, tap Edit in the upper right corner. You'll see an option to revert, or I could tap on Live and then tap on the speaker again. But if I just tap on Revert, it's going to revert to that original live photo with audio. So that's how you can reverse the process. Another couple of options that you have to remove sound is by using the loop or bounce effects in the live photo. So if you take a look in the upper left corner here, you'll see the live option. So if I tap on the live option, you'll see that I have the option to choose loop or bounce. If I choose loop and I push and hold on it, so right now it's saving, you'll see it's just going to loop it. It's going to loop the video, but the sound will be removed. And if I tap on loop and I go to the bounce effect, give it a chance to save. So you'll kind of see this bounce effect where it bounces back and forth, and that also will remove audio from the live photo. One of the effects, long exposure, will not remove audio, but loop and bounce will also remove the audio from your photo. What if I wanted to convert a live photo to a still image? Now, using this method, you will lose the 3-second video clip and have a still image. So again, let's go back to that live image that we used before. In the upper left corner, I'm going to tap on Live, and I'm going to choose Live Off. Once I choose Live Off, that video has been converted to a standalone image, and if I push and hold on it, nothing will happen. Now, if you want to keep a copy of the live photo, you might want to duplicate it first so that you have two live photos to work with. So let me go ahead and I'm going to turn live photo back on here. And so now the live photo has been returned. But if I tap on edit in the upper right corner, oops, sorry, wrong thing. Let me go to the three dots in the upper right corner. And I'm going to go ahead and tap on duplicate. And so it says I could duplicate it as a still photo. I have tried this before and it doesn't work for me. I'm not really sure why. So instead of that, I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate the video. And so now you'll see down at the bottom, there's two of the same video. So what I'll do is on this particular one, I'll go ahead and turn live off. And so now that particular video will be converted to a still image.
Honey.
And if I tap on the other duplicate, you'll see here I still have a copy of the live image. So I would, if you want to keep both, duplicate it and then remove the live option. So I have a bonus tip for you. The live photo setting is also available on FaceTime calls because maybe you want to capture a brief screen recording as you're doing the FaceTime call, but you have the option available to turn this off or on with a simple setting on your iPhone or iPad. So if I open the Settings app and I scroll and I locate and tap on FaceTime, now I'm going to scroll until I see FaceTime Live Photos. And here I have the option, I can toggle this switch off or on. So for right now, I'll leave this setting on, and let's jump over to a FaceTime call so you can see how you would use this option. So to capture a live photo on FaceTime, first of all, let me connect to FaceTime real quick, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. All right, so now basically what you're seeing is me connected to myself on a FaceTime call. And you'll notice in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, there was a button there, a capture button, but maybe you lose that and you don't see it. If you just tap on the video, it'll come back. And here is where you would capture the live photo. And it tells you automatically, so both people know that a photo has been taken. But it's easy to do. If you lose that capture button, just tap on the screen, the capture button will come back, and you can take a FaceTime photo. Remember that you can toggle that live capture off, live photos off, by going to the Settings app, going to FaceTime, and toggling that switch off. Live Photos is a fun way to capture small video clips. Now you know how to remove audio, create still images, and use the feature on FaceTime if you want. Have fun. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Any comments or questions?
Good to know.
Yeah, she didn't say if you hold on that button, if it just keeps recording, or if it just does take 1 3-second live photo.
Go ahead, Jan.
Okay, somehow I have missed, how do you make a live photo into just one photo and choose which frame you want?
That's what I want to know too. I mean, I get how you turn it into a single frame but she didn't show which frame it is. Is it the frame that you're seeing when you do that? I'm not sure.
At that time, you move to let it play, move the slider over to the so you like the photo, and then save it.
Okay, I thought it was a matter of, because it takes a second and a half before and a second and a half after, once you remove the live photo aspect, it dropped off those and it was just the center one.
Right. I believe that's how it's done.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
the way you're talking about sounds good. If you're doing like a photo burst, you can just go through and sort out the one you want and throw the rest of them away. But I don't know if that
You
works.
do that with live photo.
You can?
When you edit a live photo, it shows all of the frames at the bottom. You can just slide to the one you prefer.
Becomes a short video, and then you just select the frame that you want.
So I have another question about this. So she showed that eliminating the sound or that doing the various manipulations she showed you could revert from them. So obviously it's not actually eliminating any data. It's just not showing you the data. Is that right?
That's what it seemed.
Yeah.
Because you can turn it back on.
Right.
Right. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to go back and have the same revert.
Almost all photo edits in are non-destructive.
Right.
No.
So
Even
you wouldn't be
deletes, right?
saving any space by turning off live photo and photos you've already taken.
I think that's correct.
That's what I gathered, yeah.
But you can turn off live photo altogether in the settings app so that it's by default when you launch the photo app, not taking live photos, it's taking still photos.
Right.
Which is generally my preference.
I think it's the general population's preference too.
Yeah.
I think you turn off live photo in the camera thing, but you also have to go to settings, camera, and say save previous settings.
Right.
So it'll pop back on.
Okay, moving on. 6 videos from Gary Rosenzweig of MacMost. How to combine parts of images, iOS 17, iPhone, and iPad.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let me show you how to combine images in the Photos app on your Mac. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 2,000 supporters. Go to MacMost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So if you want to combine 2 images, like take something out of the foreground like yourself from one and then put it onto the background of another image, you can do it with a variety of different apps. If you're skilled and have professional apps like Photoshop or something similar, of course you can do it there. But I'm going to show you how to do it with just what comes with your Mac. Matter of fact, keeping the photos in the Photos app the whole time. So for instance, let's start off with a photo like this. And I'm going to take myself out of this photo and I'm going to put myself onto another photo to make it look like I was there. Now there are a few different ways to get yourself out of this photo. The simplest is to use the Copy Subject feature. This was something introduced to macOS Ventura and it's gotten better in Sonoma. And to get to it, what you need to do is Control click, 2-finger click, or right click on the image and then look for Copy Subject. Now this will only be active if your Mac can find a subject in the photo. So if it's a complex image where you blend in with the background, it may not be able to do it. But you can use Copy Subject here and now you've basically copied the subject to the photo. Matter of fact, look at it closely. When I select Copy Subject, you can see it highlights. It's got this little line that glows around to show you what it's going to copy. So you can kind of get a preview of what it's going to copy there. It's not always going to be perfect and I'll show you ways that you can manually do it in a minute. But for now, we're just going to copy the subject. And then we're going to go back out to the photos here and look for another photo to put this subject on top of. Let's choose this one here. Now, in order to paste the image on top of this one, you think you would go to edit here, but there's no way to actually edit layers and actually add a layer here inside of Photos. But that's okay, because Photos has the ability to use external editors. If I go to Image and then Edit With, you can see it shows me all the apps where I can edit this photo. Now, a lot of these are things like, for instance, Photoshop and the like. We're not going to use any of those. We're going to use what comes with your Mac. So it's built in. It's the Preview app. I have it set as the default here. So if I just use Command and Enter, it just goes here without me having to dig into the menus. And when I open this image up in Preview, any changes I make now in Preview will be reflected in the Photos app. So all I'm going to do here is simply paste. And since I copied the subject, I've got this new layer here. You can even see it behind here in Photos, showing that the change is there. I'm going to put this down here near the bottom, and I'm going to make it a little bit larger. So I'm going to grab one of these blue dots here, like that, get it something like that, and position it where I want. And I can see if I look underneath how it looks there in Photos. But not all apps will actually send information back to Photos in real time like that. But regardless of what you're using, if you save, it should send it back there. And then at this point I can close. And now I've got this new version of the photo in Photos. So very easily I was able to add myself to this image. Now you can't edit it once you've actually finished with it in Preview. If I were to go in and edit with and choose Preview again, this is no longer a separate layer. So I can't do anything with it. But you can easily start over if you didn't get the result you want, because in Photos, it's always non-destructive editing. Meaning you can always go to Image and revert to Original and go back to the original photo and then try again. Now there are some variations on this. For instance, if you weren't able to get what you wanted with control clicking and then using Copy Subject, then you can always use the same function here, Image, Edit With, and Preview. Open this up in Preview, but instead of editing the image, use this as a way to get what's there. In Preview, you can also control click, two-finger click, or right click and copy subject. That'll get you the same thing. But you can also go to the markup tools here, and then you can use either the lasso selection tool and select whatever you want, or you could use the smart lasso and then draw roughly around the subject there. I'm going to do it like this. Then I'm going to go across and just get basically tracing the edges there. And then it will do a completely different function, more of a manual function there, to try to copy the subject. And then I could do Command C there, close this without ever having made a change. So this is untouched. And now I can go into another photo and do the same thing that I did before, editing in Preview and pasting what I copied and then having that image over this one here. So you've got an automatic and a manual way to get the subject. I do want to point out one more way. If you go in and then do the same thing where you edit with and in Preview, there's a function in addition to two-finger clicking here and choosing Copy Subject. You can go into Tools and then you can remove background. When you do that, it's going to ask to convert to PNG because it needs to be semi-transparent. And it's going to kind of do the opposite. It's going to get rid of all of this instead of copying just this. The advantage to this is you can now go into this image and you can use the markup tools. I'll just use the lasso selection and I can select an area like this. Once I've selected it, press the delete key and basically trim more off. So once I've got this trimmed like I want, I can copy it, Command C, close. Now notice it did actually change this image here, but no fear because I can just go and revert to original for this one. And then I can go into another image and now I'll edit this and paste in my modified version like that and save. And now I can see how it's changed here in the Photos app. So you can see you can make it really easy just by using copy subject on one photo and then editing the other photo in preview and pasting it in there. Or you can get more precise by bringing the first photo into preview and using a variety of techniques to get exactly what you want before pasting it into the other. Either way, all you need is photos and preview, which come with your Mac, and you never have to have the photo leave your photos library to do it. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
That was really interesting.
Yes.
So in the first photo, I was thinking, wow, Gary is obviously a serious backpacker. But then when we saw him paste himself in another environment, we realized, well, maybe not. Maybe he's just took that, put his backpack on in his backyard.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was very good. I like that.
All right.
Clearly can't believe photos anymore.
Isn't that the truth?
Not for years, but yeah.
Boy, it's too bad we didn't have this video a few weeks ago. Rick could have saved himself a trip to Europe.
Speaking of which, when does he do back?
Pretty soon, I think. I think it was 2 weeks he was going to be gone.
Well, then he's back already.
All right.
I haven't heard that.
Well, if it was 2 weeks, because I talked to him the night before I flew out, and I was gone 3 weeks, and it's been 4 weeks. So
maybe he's resting, he's recuperating from jet lag.
Oh, it's a son of a gun, I'll tell you that. It took me about a week.
Are these cams in? I sent you a text and told her
You
that.
got any more comments or questions on this? So we end the recording and move on to general Q&A.
Moving on to miscellany.
Where the heck?
Bring
did
on
they
the
move?
miscellany.
Oh, we got some miscellanea? Okay.
Yes. Okay, there are 2 items, 15 things you didn't know your iPhone could do. This is by in the wire cutter section of the New York Times, printed by Caitlin McGarry and Jason Chen. And the second item is protecting calculation cells in numbers spreadsheet by yours truly. 15 things you didn't know your iPhone could do. Now, beneath each of these numbers is a little detailed description of what each of these is, which I didn't want to bore you with, but you can see the 15 items here. Identify plants or animals, transform your phone into a portable white noise machine. You can ask Siri to read things to you. You can automatically sort your grocery list. You can keep people out of your private tabs. You can create gestures that you can trigger with your voice. You can quickly remove the background from photos. You can use 2 fingers to select all. You can copy or translate text with the camera. You look up laundry care icons. Delete 1 digit on the calculator. You can keep people from snooping through your phone. And you can become a faster photographer with camera shortcuts. You can limit screen time for specific apps, and you can move a group of apps to other pages on your home screen. So if you want to get to the details on those, you can go to that URL and see about them. The second item is protecting calculation cells in the numbers spreadsheet. The significant shortcoming of the Numbers app in the Mac is lack of the ability to lock an individual cell. The total spreadsheet can be locked, making it a read-only file. For spreadsheets requiring data updates, there is need to protect the calculation cells from being overwritten by accidental keystrokes on these cells during data entry. I was reminded of this when I put together very recently a spreadsheet for Meals on Wheels in McMinnville, Oregon. And so the following describes 2 ways to provide such protection. You can overlay the calculation shells with a rectangular shape, and therefore you cannot click on them and gain entry. Or you can use 2 spreadsheets with the calculation formulas on a locked spreadsheet called A and referencing data input cells on spreadsheet B. Those are the 2 methods. tools that you use, if you go to the menu bar, you'll see there's an insert, a shape, the rectangle. That's what you use for covering cells to protect them. And you can moderate the opacity of the cells to where you see through them. And then the lock is also on the menu bar under Arrange. You go to Lock. This is the Meals on Wheels spreadsheet that I could use to describe these methods. On the left-hand sheet here, it just tells what it is. It's the meals count for Tuesday, May 21st, and you can understand there'd be one for Monday, one for Tuesday, one for Thursday, and through the week. And for each day, there are 6 routes, A through F, plus some people who pick theirs up called extra. And the number of clients is on the count column here. But each client has a choice of entry trays. They send out a menu ahead of time, and the people select whether they want the A choice or the B choice. There are side trays, which include things like a salad, possibly some sliced fruit, and a dessert. And since there's a dessert, the side trays are, they have their option of taking diet or regular. And then they get to choose whether they want milk or not. So there's quite a bit of detail that has to be put together for each day, for each route. And this spreadsheet covers it all. But so as every day, these are being filled in for the entrees and for the side trays and for the milk. They're clicking on those, and they don't want to accidentally click in the count row or in the subtotal row or in the total row. So on the right, method 1, overlay the calculation cells with rectangle shape having low opacity. Caution though, this does not prevent access to the cell by way of tabbing or by arrow keying left, right, up, down into it, but it does prevent cursor selecting into a cell. So that's partial protection. That would be one way of doing it. The second way is to use the lock tool under the Arrange menu. It locks all cells in the table, so it requires 2 tables to separate the entry cells from the calculation cells. Then use the lock tool on the calculation cell table. So here is the full spreadsheet on the left. And you'll notice that that the function on this first one that I showed, it shows it's referencing table 1, which is on the right-hand side. On the right-hand side is the one in which they fill in all these numbers every day, and different people do it. And the possibility of someone, the need to lock the calculation cells is pretty apparent. And so that's the way to do it. You take the first table, you cut off the first 2 columns of the route and count, you duplicate it and take off the route and count, and then you've got the second table, and that one they can put the data entry in. So that's how to lock, prevent data entry, prevent people from getting the calculation cells in numbers. Now, for people who use Excel, you know you can lock individual cells. So this is a shortcoming of numbers. Now on to QA and social hour.
Okay, go ahead and stop your share.
Yep.
And we'll stop the recording. And for those of you watching on YouTube, DVMUG members can find the link to the Q&A for the next hour on the DVMUG BBS. Bye-bye.